Now, without further delay, let's talk about the bitch that taught me a weight loss lesson. So there was this dog walking around town, and he found a bone. Found this nice juicy bone, and he was thrilled. He was trotting around town, showing it off, chin held high, fighting it nice and tight so he didn't lose it. So the dog was finally ready to go home and enjoy his big old juicy bone. But to do that, he had to cross a bridge to get to his house. So he's crossing this bridge, and as he's kind of at the top of the bridge, he looks down, and there's water underneath, and he notices that there's another dog with a bigger bone down there, and it looks a little tastier. He thought to himself, I think that bone would make me happier. I think I want that bone instead. So he drops his bone that he has, it falls into the lake, it kind of floats away, and he rushes down to the water where he sees the other dog, and so he can really get that bone. But then all of a sudden, he gets down to the bottom, he's sitting right at the shore, and there's no dog to be found. It clued in that the dog he was looking at was his reflection. And that bigger bone that he had was actually the bone that he already had in his mouth. But because he didn't appreciate what he had, because he was going after what somebody else had, comparing his bone to somebody else, he lost everything. Going after the bigger bone made him lose the bone that he had. And now he had nothing. And it's a wonderful example to show you that if you don't appreciate what you have, because you're comparing it to somebody else who has maybe something seemingly better, you're going to lose the good stuff, or you're going to miss out on all the good stuff that you can have and you can experience. You see, I used to have friends. Now you tell me if you got these friends that could eat anything that they want, that could lose weight like that. They just stop eating for one day and they can drop 10 pounds, right? Like my husband, okay? My husband can eat a cupcake and lose 10 pounds. I sniff the icing, I gain 10 pounds, right? So I had these friends that weight loss just seemed so easy for them. Even after they had kids, they could lose it no problem. And it would always frustrate me. They could wear whatever they wanted and not think about it. Where I had to change outfits like 5 times till I found something I was just comfortable in. And then they could wear a bathing suit on the beach and not worry about how they look or how it's sitting on them or pulling at it. And I would go to the beach and I would wear a t-shirt in the water. And I told everybody I was wearing it because I didn't want to burn, which is kind of half true because I'm really pasty. But mostly it was because I was terrified of walking around in a bathing suit, showing off my body. The cellulite on my thighs jiggling, my rolls when I sat down, my arms shaking with no sleeves on. I was terrified. And I was envious of these women's ease in weight loss and not worrying about their bodies, their food, their exercise, their health, nothing. It seemed effortless. And I didn't know why it was so easy for them and so hard for me. It really made me upset. I didn't understand. What did I do so wrong that I couldn't achieve it that easily? What is wrong with me? Am I being punished or something? I didn't really understand. And I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be like them so much so that, I could lose weight. I'd lose, let's say, a pound one week. But then, Jessica would be like, I lost 2 pounds this week. And I'd be pissed. Instead of excited that I saw progress and lost 1 pound, I was upset that I didn't lose 2 pounds. You been there before? Progress is progress, results are results. But when we compare them to somebody else, they just don't seem as good anymore, right? And so here I was, unhappy all the time. Nothing was ever good enough for me. I couldn't even celebrate my wins and my progress because somebody else seemed to be getting more progress faster than I was. And that was a perpetual state of wanting, of yearning for what they had, what somebody else had. And it all came to a screeching halt one day, me comparing myself to others, when I saw this post of this girl that I follow, and she had this, at the time, she had this amazing body, flawless body. She must have airbrushed it and photoshopped it. She had the nice little definition and a nice round booty, and she had this beautiful body, and I followed so I could look like her. And usually she's posting workouts or healthy meal options, right? But this post was very different than any other post I'd seen before. She was bawling her eyes out. So I clicked it quick. I was like, what the heck's going on? And she's talking about how she's getting a divorce. Came out of nowhere. Nobody even knew she was separated. And all of a sudden she's getting divorced. And there she was, bawling, breaking apart a family, breaking apart a marriage, but she had a nice body. And it clued into me in that moment, I have a beautiful family, I have a beautiful husband, I have a beautiful child, I have a beautiful life. I just want more, and that's okay. But I'm not going to get more if I'm wanting more because I'm trying to model it after somebody else's more. And in fact, somebody else's more, you probably don't actually want if you could have it. See, I wouldn't trade my life with hers, even if it meant I could get that body. You don't know what other people are going through. Maybe that person, maybe Jessica, who lost that 2 pounds, and I was pissed because I only lost 1, maybe she lost that weight so much because she was sick. Maybe she lost so much weight so fast because she spent hours on the treadmill, hating herself, killing herself, making her throw up. We don't know anybody else's story. But what I do know is by comparing yours to theirs, instead of respecting them separately, you're only hurting yourself and you're slowing down your progress. And you're missing out on one of the most important things in a weight loss journey, and that is enjoying the process. If you do not enjoy this process, you will not enjoy the destination. If I snap my fingers and you lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks, which is what we do, by the way, which we're really good at, if we did that, you'd still feel the way that you feel right now in this moment. You'd also still have the habits with you. The habits that got you into this body, which is the one that you don't want for much longer. You want to change it. And so unless you change your thought processes and your behavior patterns along the way, you will always end up to where you are now. There's so many women that I see who even lose lots of weight. Like they lost 50 pounds. They went from 200 pounds to 150 pounds. But because their mind stayed 200 pound them, they always went back to 200 pounds. If your mind is not growing with your progress, you will always go back to where your mind stopped growing. Whatever number on the scale that was. You guys following me? And so it's time to stop comparing yourself. Comparison is literally the thief of joy. I missed out for the first 2 decades of my weight loss journey. I didn't enjoy any of it. And I missed out on all the wins that I had, all the personal lessons that I were learning. Even though the scale perhaps wasn't the biggest victory, there were so many non-scale victories that I wasn't even paying attention to. That if I was paying attention to, I would have been excited and able to stay motivated because there were so many wins happening. When all I did was say it wasn't as good as this person, or they're doing better than me, why can't I do better? It's almost like I was greedy. But I wasn't doing what was necessary of me to deserve that large, fast result. And when I stopped comparing myself, I actually started speeding up my results. And that's the key to you. If you stop looking at other people's results, that's what's so great about this challenge. You're surrounded by other people's results, but you're also surrounded by these women telling their stories. So you can humanize their results and humanize your results and share in similar stories and see how different your stories are as well. And you can stop comparing and realizing that you have progress today. You saw progress today. You dropped on the scale, even if it's a little bit. Your pants are getting looser, aren't they? Your face got thinner already. You got a compliment from your husband. You feel comfortable in that dress that didn't fit a week ago. There's so many wins that if you're focused on everybody else's, you're going to miss your own, and you're going to hate your own journey, and you're going to stop, and you're going to be stuck. Not this time. Not this time. And this reminds me of our Fit Queen, Julie. She joined our private client community, and she was crushing it. She was losing 2 to 3 to 4 pounds every single week for months on end. We got her down 45 pounds in total. She's crushing it. She's beautiful. And it was funny because she had the habit of, let's say she had a holiday week where she had a party on the weekend and like a celebration at work during the week. And that week she only lost 1 pound instead of a regular 2 to 3 pounds. She would sit there and she would beat herself up. She'd beat herself up and say, God, this was a horrible week. I didn't lose my 2 pounds. Instead of saying, what a wonderful week. I lost 1 pound while still being able to enjoy the foods that I love, spending time with the people that I love, and not stressing about my journey. See the difference? And so over time, we pointed that out to Julie, and she started enjoying the moment more. She didn't stress out about food as much. She didn't feel anxious about social situations anymore, vacations, holidays, weddings. She got to enjoy them. And it was beautiful to watch. And as a result, when she had a bad week mentally, it didn't go into a whole week. It was a 1 day. It was 1 day, we got back on track, and because of that, we lost the 45 pounds very quickly. Because we didn't compare ourselves to other people, which then threw us off and said, screw it. Why even bother? And then before you know it, we gain all our way back. So Julie was really, really cool. And you can have that too, right? You can have results just like Julie if we focus on ourselves. So any win is a good win. It is an excuse to celebrate. We need more excuses to celebrate in this lifetime, especially with everything going on in the world. Celebrate you, celebrate your wins. I don't care if they sound silly. Share every small win because it is not small. Every win is ginormous. It takes one brick at a time to build a wall, and it takes one wall at a time to build a house. You are building your transformation, your body, the only house you've ever been given. Treat it right, build it one brick at a time, build a strong foundation. Stop being mad when Rome wasn't built in a day. Because it'll be built in 2-3 days, I promise. It's going to happen actually very fast. Faster than you could ever imagine. But you have to enjoy the progress. And only compare who you are today to who you were yesterday.